Hi, this is Tasha and I'm back once again with another video, and I am so happy to be here today to share with you. I'm grateful that God has given me this chance again to share the word with you. And okay, I would have done videos like just doing videos to give people the word and all that, but I would prefer if we go through what God is teaching us right now, and help ourselves to draw much closer to God. So today's topic, before I go to today's topic, if you're here for the first time, welcome, feel at home, and I hope we grow together. And if you've been here all through, I'm also very grateful. And if we have interacted for a few times, I hope to maintain the interaction with you, and let's just see where God is taking us. Yeah. So today's topic is about God has much to tell us. Like, He has a lot to tell us. I chose this topic coming from the book of John 16 verse 12, which says, I have still much more to say to you, more than you can now bear. This was Jesus telling the disciples that he had a lot to tell them. Like, Jesus was here in the world, but he was living a life in such a way that he was more connected with God, and you could see that aspect of his relationship with God clearly being portrayed, and the things that were happening. Obviously, the disciples were feeling like, hey, this is like in a higher dimension, a different angle. And yes, it is in a different angle, but Jesus told them that he had a lot to tell them, but they could not bear yet. And this is because, first of from the previous topics, I've talked about the soul and the spirit life. I've covered it a little. I haven't gone so deep into it, but I will come back to it later. So what you realize is, like, for the spirit life to operate, there has to be certain environment. There has to be like a way somebody has surrendered their life to God for. And then there are just certain things like prayers, which has to be there, having communion with God, in whichever way you communicate with God, that is also part of it. So, why is it that He's telling us that we cannot bear what He wants to tell us? And I'm saying this because most of us, I can say, like, all of the people watching this video, or 99% of them, but I believe there are instances where you've seen yourself, either maybe through dreams, you've seen yourself doing certain things, yet physically you cannot be able to do them, like operating in a certain way, or having a certain kind of, they call it a certain kind of grace, or like divine enablement, like you have something else that you can do, but in the physical realm, it's like you haven't, you are not it yet, like you don't even like look like it. So these are instances where God is always trying to give you a glimpse of who you can be. Just a glimpse. It's not even like He's showing you the whole picture, because He needs to draw you first of all. And all these things, while He shows us, you find that most of the time we tend to assume like it's just a dream, or it's just a vision, wherever. like this is not the first time I'm seeing it and all that. Yet sometimes it's always a way God is trying to communicate with you that, you know what, you're living in this life and years are passing. Like you've not even attempted to come to this dimension that you should be operating in, and the years are going by. So he's trying to provoke you, like trying to bring that thing out and to show you, you know, you can do this too, or you can also operate in this angle. But most of us, we don't. We assume it like those are just dreams and all that, but in real sense, there are things that are real. They're more real than whatever you're seeing here. And because actually before we came here on earth, he wanted you to execute. And the things of God for you to execute, you have to rise up to a certain level. But most of us, we have not been able to do that because we ignore those kind of pulls or those kind of things that the Spirit of God is trying to show you so that He might draw you to God. We tend to ignore them. Instead, these things, when it should be like when you see these things, it should be drawing you closer to God. It should be drawing you like to find out more, like, no, this is not the whole thing that I should be seeing. Like you can know more about it. But we don't get to know more about it. We just go on with our lives. So I'm saying this because yes, I'm also in the learning process, and I'm also still growing spiritually, and I hope God will help me to reach the level that He wants me to. From what I've said, know that there is a version of you that can actually do whatever you've been seeing. That version of you exists, but the problem is you cannot bear it because you've limited yourself in the physical realm instead of you kind of trying to operate in the spirit realm, because the things of God, for them to be able to come into the physical or to be able to manifest in the physical, there has to be certain things you have to do, like having a very close relationship with God, because He's the custodian of all these things. They are in Him. So even if you are supposed to do them, it's not even by your strength that you'll be doing them. It will be through His strength. So we have to still get to know Him. Please, whenever you see these visions or dreams of you doing certain things that you know, yes, they can be done, but they can be done, but how do we call it? They can be done, but you're not able to do them yet. Just know that you need to find out more from God. And to find out more from God, that means you must develop that relationship. And it's a process, and it's not easy, so that is why we have to rely on God to help us to get there. Otherwise, you will live your whole life without achieving the things that God had in mind. And by the end of it, God will be like, I thought you were supposed to do this and this, and you didn't even try or attempt to do it, or attempt even to get to know me so that I show you the whole thing that I had in mind. Most of us, we don't go extra mile to find out. Like you're just more of comfortable living the normal life. Yeah. But we need to go deeper and find out more. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. But I need you to begin to think about what God has in mind. If you see certain things, just try to engage God more. Develop that relationship. It will cost you. It will cost you for you to reach that level. Because if He says you cannot bear it, it means you've not reached that level. There's certain capacity you have not reached because your prayer life has not developed. You don't have that capacity yet in the physical. Unless He is the one who enables you. And He can only come through and enable you if He knows that you're serious and that is what you want. But otherwise, most of us, we want several things at a go.